It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show, brought to you by uwager.eu. It is where America Bet is, also where this show bets. Also want to thank Good Greek Moving and Storage, Miami, Acura, TrendyBets.com, WagerTalk.com, HalftimeMagic.com, and one of our newest sponsors here on the show, iTicketHub.com, which you will learn an awful lot about them coming up a little bit later here. If you are planning on heading to any of the bowl games, maybe you're going to be laying a little action on the game, and you're like, you know what, I want to go, I want to check this out. I can promise you, you will find no better prices right now on the secondary ticket market than at iTicketHub.com. So you'll meet them, you'll learn an awful lot. I'll tell you how you can save all sorts of money. That is coming up here in just about 35 minutes. We are loaded once again here on the show today with sports handicapping knowledge. And for those of you that are just joining us, welcome. We are streaming live across all 5 platforms here, folks. Every platform known to mankind, we are on. We're on Twitch, we're on Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And for those of you that I see that are piling up right now in the chat rooms, thank you very much for making us a part of your day. Our goal here on the show is very simply, we want to make you a better sports better, a better. Okay? That's our goal here on the show. And we do that by showcasing to you some of the best sports handicappers, the most professional, that's a hell of a word. Where the hell did I come up with that? The most professional, okay, the most transparent, and the best of the best, so to speak, around the country. We want to present them to you. These are not guys that claim to be 95% winners every week. These are not guys who hide behind Twitter names or behind websites. These are services and these are groups of handicappers that have either A, been doing this longer than any of us have ever been around, or these are guys that may fly under the radar and they're not going to be putting up billboards along I-95 or, across US 1 around the country trying to get you to know who they are. That's where we come in. We try to introduce to you the best of the best in sports handicapping, because if you're new to sports handicapping, if you're just getting into wagering because it's become legal in your state, congratulations, New Mexico. There's going to be a whole lot of states now in 2019 where sports betting is going to become very mainstream. It's going to be legal in your state. And a lot of you may have some questions. And unfortunately, any of you that spend any time on social media, everybody is a sports handicapper right now. No joke. You go on Twitter, hang out on there, and you just put in hashtag gambling Twitter, and I promise you, you will find 95% professional sports handicappers. And the problem is they have muddied the water for the real pros in this industry. And that's where we come in, and that's what we're trying to do. And no different today. We are going to introduce you to a gentleman here who is all about the numbers. He is a guy that does all the legwork for his clients so they can actually have a life. And his work speaks for itself. He is known in the industry as Hook Slide. He's from Cash Flow Sports. We are going to introduce you to him in just a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about the college football playoffs, and particularly the OU-Alabama game as well as the Clemson-Notre Dame game. And we're going to talk betting strategy. And this is something that you have to know. It's not just about, all right, take Alabama to win or take Notre Dame to win. There's got to be a method behind the madness. Otherwise, you will never improve as a sports bettor. And our goal on this show is to try to make you a better. And Hook Slide is going to come on, and he is going to talk about some strategy and the way the numbers work and the bets you should make, the bets you shouldn't make. So a whole lot of great knowledge is coming your way. We're also going to have, and you know this, coming up in just about 45 minutes, our TrendyBets.com NBA Play of the Day. We have this on the show every day if you're just joining us as well. We love the guys over at TrendyBets.com. Another one of these flying under the radar groups and services that have been nothing but professional, transparent, and on fire over the last month or so with their NBA plays. But they also cover college football, the NFL, the NHL. These guys are fantastic. We encourage you to head over to TrendyBets.com and see what's going on there. They provide a free NBA play of the day. We will give that to you coming up in just about 45 minutes. Also, a very special guest. I'm so glad we got him. We're going to bring the truth your way. And I'm talking about Mike Truth. Mike Truth is from the King of Bball News. You want to talk about a follow on Twitter here, guys. This is a guy that spends all his time, and he has now for years. This is the guy that spends all his time on the grassroots level of the basketball scene. He knows, and he has seen all the guys that you see, the Anthony Davises of the world, all of these guys that have been, who have come up through, AA basketball. This is a guy that has been following them and knows their stories inside and out. He is wired in not only with the high school basketball level, but he is wired in college basketball with these freshmen, Zion Williams at Duke, and he's also wired in the NBA. So we're going to bring him on because we want to get some insight and hear some of the stories about, Kansas losing their big man now. Is Kansas season over? We want to know what's going on with North Carolina. Like, why are the Tar Heels? Why is nobody talking about the Tar Heels? Nobody talking about the North Carolina Tar Heels. I want to get his point of view there. I want to talk about Kevin Durant and LeBron James and the Lakers and who does he like in the East. And he's got some stories from Washington and what an absolute mess it is in Washington right now with John Wall. So he's going to bring that kind of knowledge and those kinds of stories your way too. Very entertaining guy. Follow him. It's at King of Bball News on Twitter. You will not be disappointed. It's Mike Truth, and he brings the truth each and every day. I also want to touch base on the diva that is Aaron Rodgers. What a little bitch he's turned out to be. I mean, did any of you see that coming? Honestly, I mean, if you're a Pats Fitzgerald from Northwestern, right, or if you're a Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, do you really want to come and deal with a 35, 36-year-old Aaron Rodgers and that kind of drama and diva attitude that he's bringing to the table here? I don't know. I mean, but it just seems everybody that comes out and has something to say about Aaron Rodgers has something to say negative about his attitude. And the older he gets, apparently, the worse it's getting. There was a assistant coach that just got fired because he went on Twitter and announced to the world that, hey, guess what? Aaron Rodgers is a little bitch, and that he needs to be reeled in. Well, he didn't quite say that. Here's what he said. Ponder this. What championship teams have a great leadership, period? It's not the offensive guru trend. It's not the safe trend. Find somebody that is going to hold number 12 and everybody in this building to a Lombardi standard, period. Losing sucks. And you know what? I applaud Winston Moss for his candor. This is a guy that has never had a problem telling you the way he feels. And about 20 minutes later, he came out with this. The Packers have informed me that they're letting me go. And he thanked Twitter. Why he thanked Twitter, I have no idea. Nobody forced you to type in the words, the 100 and 240 characters there, Winston. Nobody, and I mean nobody, put a gun to your head and said, hey, tweet that out and take a shot at Aaron Rodgers. But he did. And he's not the only guy that's ever done that. He's not the only person that's ever played and worked under the same roof as Aaron Rodgers, where they had that to say about him, that Aaron Rodgers, he certainly looks like he has quit on the team. He looked like he quit on the team in the Arizona game prior to Mike McCarthy getting fired. We've already known he's not been a big fan of Mike McCarthy. He's sitting there, Aaron Rodgers, watching the rest of the league. He's watching the Drew Breeses and the Tom Bradys of the world. Tom Brady, once again, going to be competing for a championship. He's going to be making the playoffs. Drew Brees could possibly have the best offense in the league. He's going back to the playoffs. All of these guys, Ben Roethlisberger, another guy that in all likelihood is going back to the playoffs. And, here's Aaron Rodgers, 35 years old, same age as these guys. And where is he? I mean, he might not even be better than the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. Chicago has all of a sudden grown up right in front of us. Chicago is now a very viable playoff team. Minnesota Vikings are a playoff team. Then you have Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, and Detroit. I'm not even sure that they're better than Detroit. So you've got a very frustrated 35-year-old cranky attitude, me kind of quarterback here. He's been like that for a while. It's kind of all or nothing. It doesn't ever appear to be Aaron Rodgers' fault. And now they don't have a coach for him besides Joe Philbin, and good luck with that. But now he's cranky. He's pissed off. He's cranky. And a lot of people, now that there's going to be some turnover in that building, a lot of people have no problem pointing to the fact that, you know what, Aaron? Maybe look in the mirror, my friend. Maybe the issue isn't Mike McCarthy or the front office, although they're all, they all played a part in this. But maybe the issue is you, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you're the problem. Why don't we try looking in the mirror and holding yourself accountable? And maybe that's it. But if you're a young, up-and-coming, if you're a college coach, if you're Fitzgerald at Northwestern, another one of these young Sean McVay types, these young guys, these offensive-minded guys that the NFL is going to start plucking away here over the next couple of years. Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. You want to come in and deal with that attitude? Like the crotchety old quarterback that's pissed off at the world, like because he hasn't been surrounded by, the same types of teams or hasn't had the support that a Tom Brady has had or a Ben Roethlisberger's had. I don't know, man. I don't know that your first NFL experience, although it'd be great to have a quarterback with the traits and the ability of Aaron Rodgers, but man, oh man, it comes with a lot of baggage and a lot of attitude. So I don't know. If you can't control Aaron Rodgers, then you can't control that team. You can't control that organization. You are a 2-year coach at best, getting ready to get thrown out the door. If you don't win, it's championship or bust in that job, because Aaron Rodgers is not going to wait to rebuild. Okay, he's pretty much told you that now, that he thinks Mike McCarthy's the problem. Okay, we're going to get you a new, young, offensive-minded stud coach. What happens if you don't win in the first year? Now you're 36-37. Is it going to get easier? It's not going to get easier. So I don't know that they're just a player or two away from being any better. And let's face it, Father Time just around the corner, Aaron. Father Time is, as much as Drew Brees and, Tom Brady have done a great job of running away from Father Time, he waits for nobody. So sooner or later, you're going to start, those skills are going to diminish a little bit. That ball's going to come out a little bit later. It's going to have a little less zip on it. And then all of a sudden, what happens? So I don't know. I don't think it's as great a job as people are portraying it out to be. I would be very weary if I'm one of these young, upstart, college, offensive-minded coaches about jumping into the NFL, into that situation. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, a little bit too big a diva, a little bit too big an ego for my taste. And the organization has already shown you with Winston Moss here that, yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers' team, so why don't you just let him call the plays? The problem is Aaron Rodgers is not Peyton Manning in no way, shape, or form. So not quite sure how that's going to work out for you. But good luck. Good luck, whoever gets that job. Maybe you should just keep Joe Philbin in there, because chances are you're going to fire him anyway after a couple of years. All right, coming up, we're going to get Hook Slide here on the phone. We are going to talk to him about the college football playoffs. We're going to talk betting strategy. Can't wait to talk to him. But first, of course, we want to thank one of our sponsors here that make this possible, our good friends at Miami Acura. They encourage you to take a test drive, the all-new 2019 RDX. It's available for you. It's very simple. All you have to do is go there, South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay in the 305, or visit them at MiamiAcura.com. The deals end of the year are crazy right now, which means now would be the time for you to take advantage and get a car at the price that you never thought possible. Certified or pre-owned car, it's all yours at Miami Acura. Just visit them, MiamiAcura.com, or call them at 855-564-4669. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, and in an effort to continue to try to bring you and showcase some of the best handicappers from around the country, we are honored and we're really happy to have our next guest here on the phone with you today, because when it comes to sports handicapping, this is definitely one of those guys that will make you a better, which is what we are trying to do and accomplish here, and we are glad to have him with us, joining us via the Miami Acura hotline. He is known as Mr. Hook Slide, so you can just call him Hook if you want. But Mr. Hook Slide, thank you very much from Cashflow Sports joining us today. Thank you, my friend.
Joe, I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and talk about one of my favorite least favorite topics, which is betting, sports betting in particular.
It's a love-hate thing, man, and I get that. It is definitely a love-hate thing. Let's start first and foremost. Let's give the viewers and the listeners a little background on you about how you got into this, what you've been doing. I know you're with SBR Picks. You definitely cover the NFL with them. You've been around the block once or twice, so just give the viewers a little overview of what you've been doing.
Well, I'm a diehard sports fan for years and years, but also in my day job, I do a lot of data analysis and software development, that kind of thing. So I'm very much an analytically inclined person. And about 5-6 years ago, I decided, what if I applied some of these, number principles to the whole sports betting game to see if I can figure out a way to not so much beat the books, because I think they know more than I do. I think they know more than most of us. But I might be able to beat them on how much they're paying out relative to the risks that I'm taking. And I found that was a pretty successful path for the last 5 years. I've been turning profits fairly regularly, and so eventually kind of got picked up, did some work for Bet the Board last year, doing NFL analysis. Now I'm with SBR, doing kind of the same thing. But so yeah, that's kind of what I'm into, is coming at it from a numbers standpoint and more of a financial standpoint.
Love it. At Hooks Picks, by the way, is where you can follow him on Twitter. It's a great Twitter file. And coming up here in just a couple of minutes, we're going to tell you how you can kind of get into his inner circle, too, via Patreon. Some great information there. So we'll get to that. But let's start college football here first and foremost. We got a ton of bowl games coming up here, and we've got the college football playoff and betting strategy. How do you approach this time of year with college football?
Well, I would say, number one, you have to get your bets in early. And because these games, especially when you talk about like Oklahoma and Alabama and then Clemson and Notre Dame, these are such high-profile games that the public is going to be all over these games early. So the lines are going to move. They're going to suck the value right out of anything you can get. So get in early is my first approach. The second approach is, like I was saying earlier, it's all about analyzing how much are the sports books willing to pay me to take some of these bets. And when you got a high-profile game like this, when you got, say, Alabama is such an extreme favorite, everyone's going to lay money on them. The books are not going to pay you for taking that bet. They're going to pay pennies on the dollar, so it's not even worth betting on those teams. You have to find a different way. You have to find a different approach to kind of squeeze money out. One of the things that I love to point out is, generally speaking, when we talk about spread betting, the data's been out there for decades. You will win 52 out of 100 games that you bet against the spread. That's just a flat rate. So you're going to lose 48, you're going to win 52, and at those rates, you need to be making at least dollar for dollar on your bet to stay ahead. If you're getting anything less than that, you're going to lose money in the long run. So one of the things that I advocate for is kind of figuring out, looking at, let's say, the Alabama-Oklahoma game. I think the books have that set at a 15-point spread right now, somewhere in there. If you feel like you can get it for 14, that you can get your book to set the line differently for you and offer you a higher payout for moving that, go for it. Because really, your odds don't change that much. You have just as good a chance, I think, of winning at 14 points as you do at 15. But if you're getting that extra push where they're going to say, hey, we'll pay you, $108 for every 100 you bet, now you've got the edge.
So it comes down to strict mathematics is what you're looking at over there. It's understanding value, and that word is used a lot, hook slide. You hear it all the time in sports betting, and for those that might not be experienced bettors, those that are just starting to get into this, talk a little bit about that value. Like, what does value mean? What should you be looking for? This type of situation you just mentioned is that if you can get the numbers in your favor where you tend to profit more on the same bet, well, there's some value there. What else does value mean? Help us understand that.
Really, it's just, I like to say this, on my writings that I put on my Patreon blog, I'm constantly looking at, am I making enough money to cover my losses? That's the important thing. I'm going to lose a certain number of bets. We're all going to. Even the best of us, what's the number you always hear? Like, the best cappers in the world can only get to 56% at a win rate. So we're going to lose a lot of games. It's very important then for the ones that we win that we're getting maximum payout so that I can sustain a losing streak because I've built up enough profit during the wins, to absorb that. So it's, we talk about, again, going back to the college football championship. I think most of us are pretty, aware of the fact that if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, we're going to be looking at Alabama and Clemson in the final championship game, right? I think we all agree.
Yes.
That's the most likely outcome. But right now, if you go to, we'll put it this way, if you wait until we actually get to a couple weeks before that game, the sports books are going to put out the lines on those two teams. The public's going to bet. You're going to lose a lot of value watching the lines move. But if you act now, if you go in and try to bet a futures bet to say, hey, I'm going to bet on the fact that this is the outcome, that these two teams are the exact two teams in the in the championship game, and I'm going to bet that Alabama wins this, I can actually get a much better price for that. The kind of prices that you are not going to get if you wait until the lines come out and you're trying to bet straight up on the money line.
And it's also important, too, to understand that, the book's job is to make sure that they make out no matter what the outcome is, right? I mean, that's ultimately what the books are looking to do. They don't necessarily care which side you bet on as long as they are covered on both sides. So some cappers that you'll talk to, they'll go, you know what, I want to wait until the very last minute. I want to have as much knowledge as humanly possible before I make a decision. And then we have the other side going, you know what, if you can get your number, pounce on the number, get it, believe in it, and go from there. Is there a right or a wrong answer to that, or are they both right?
That's a really good question. Do you jump early, or do you wait, to the last minute? I say you start early. I want to figure out right from the get-go, what are my odds of winning this pick versus what are my odds of losing. I want to find out how many times do I win. If I bet the same game 100 times, how many times am I going to win? How many times am I going to lose? What's my loss? What's my win total? And so I start with that framework to begin with, so that when the numbers first come out, I look at them and say, does it fit my framework? If not, I'm going to wait. I'm going to watch. I'm going to let the lines move. And when they hit, my threshold, now I'm going to pounce. And that might not be until the very last minute.
Right.
That was certainly the case when, I think it was 2016, when I took the Broncos over the Panthers in the Super Bowl. And it's just a matter of kind of reading the market. In that case, I knew that the public was all over the Panthers, that their line was going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, meaning, we're going to pay you 30 cents on the dollar. No, now 20 cents, now 10 cents.
Right.
And correspondingly, the Broncos were going to get more and more valuable. And I felt like they had a really good chance of winning that game anyway. So I waited till a couple of days before, when they got to almost, I think, 3-1 payout, got huge value, and they ended up winning the game.
Well, he is Hook Slide. He is known to his friends and around the sports betting community as Hook Slide. Cash Flow Sports. Make sure that you check him out. He's a great follow on Twitter at Hooks Picks. Now, if some of the stuff that he is talking about right now, maybe you're not comprehending it, or you just started and you're just new, ultimately what this comes down to is what Hook Slide does is he does all the work for you. He does all the legwork for you. He's spending, 50, 40, 50, 60 hours a week making sure that he can come up and figure out where the best value bet is, which is why it's important for the casual bettor, Hook Slide, to be able to trust cappers like yourself, to be able to point them in the right direction. And they can certainly do that by heading over to your Patreon page. Tell us what if somebody is interested in bringing your services on board and investing in you, what happens at Patreon when they go there? What are they getting?
Well, you subscribe to the service. It's a monthly subscription. For the month of December, I'm giving $12.99. It's like 40 cents a day. And I cover pretty much everything: college basketball, NBA, NHL, NFL, college football. And what I find, there are a lot of posts that I put up that are just pure informational kind of strategy, where I try to go deeper into these concepts so people do understand exactly what I'm talking about. I try to use analogies like betting on a coin flip, as something very basic to get those fundamentals in. But then I do provide, the breakdown of every day's matchups. Like just recently, just today, I put up a post that you're going to want to get to this post. I broke down every single bowl game every single one that's coming up. And what I did is I laid out for you exactly what are the minimum money lines that you're looking for in every one of those games. So now you have a whole sheet that you can just go, good, I can just watch the books for the next couple of weeks. And when when the money lines hit these thresholds that I've laid out for you, now I know when to get in there and get my money in.
And that is just such valuable information that usually, listen, most people don't have the time to go that in depth, which is why it's important for you to invest in the services of somebody like Hookslide here from Cashflow Sports. They're doing the work for you. They're going to provide you all the information, and they're going to, more importantly, and this is, you brought up a great point on your Twitter, they're going to explain why they've come up and they've figured out that this is the play that you should be making. There is always, they're not just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. I mean, there is a method to the madness here, and the way you become a better sports investor, better, so to speak, is by understanding why certain picks are made, and that's exactly what you do better than most, Hookslide, is that you give people an understanding of, this is my pick, this is why I'm picking this.
Well, and I would correct that just slightly so people understand. I am less about here are the picks, because I think you have good information already, right? Anybody reading my site has a pretty good set of information, I think. Most people should, going into any game. And I don't want to take the choice away from you. Which side of this game are you going to bet? I want you to, be able to go with your feelings on some of these things, but I'm going to lay out the framework and say, if you're going to bet that team, do not take them for a worse price than what I'm showing you, because you lose value on it. So in some cases, yes, I'll say, hey, yesterday Indiana U in college basketball was already at a ridiculously good price, and I said, you should probably take that. The rest of the stuff, mostly, I kind of just lay it out and say, here's the matchups, and you're looking for these prices. So it just gives you a framework to work with without taking away your own, your own research, your own information. You may be better at picking NBA stuff than I am, but now you have, a guideline to say, I'm not going to jump on that game until I get this price.
Great stuff. At Hooks Picks, by the way, on Twitter, if you're just joining us, that is where you find them. That is where you go. All sorts of valuable information. We always say on the show, knowledge is power, and you'll get no more great knowledge than you will by following at Hooks Picks. His Patreon page is there. All his information is there if you want to join forces with him, and I highly recommend you do yourself at least this favor of following him on Twitter and spending a couple of days watching what he posts and read what he posts, because it is valuable information in the sports betting world. You mentioned college football playoffs. You mentioned OU, Alabama. What have you noticed so far, Clemson and Notre Dame, in the college football playoffs? Have there been any trends or anything so far that has stuck out to you?
Yeah, the thing that stuck out to me is that the sports books know exactly what they're doing with that game, and they set that point spread exactly to the place where you can't make any money off of it. It's like, hey, they're doing their job. They're doing their job. So if you're going to go any which way on this, again, I go back to betting against the spread for underdogs is successful 52% of the time. So if you feel like that, what are they at, 12? I think 12 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can take Notre Dame at 1 point less and feel like that will still cover, but get the sportsbook to pay you plus 110 for that, that's a value bet all day long. And again, you're going to win it 52% of the time, so try to shave and figure out ways to get the value where they're not going to give it to you, because they've already done way more homework on this than I'm ever going to do, more than you're ever going to do. Yep. So we have to find new creative ways to get in there.
What is your theory? Because I've heard, you bring enough people on this show here. One of the overwhelming themes that I hear from a number of different cappers when it comes to buying points. What is your philosophy on buying points? Explain that, please, to the viewer who may not, who might go, you know what? I'd rather at 3.5 than 3, or I'd rather explain to where you go when it comes to buying points.
Well, it's like I was just saying with the Clemson Notre Dame game. They've already set that point spread at 12 or 12.5 or whatever it is. We already know that 30 years worth of history tells us it really doesn't matter within a point or two. It doesn't really impact your win rate or your loss rate that much. But the books will oftentimes let you, buy the points, set your own line, say, hey, I'll take it for a point less, or I'll take it for a point more, or whatever, and they will give you a slightly better payout, based on that. And I think that's a highly valuable way. I generally advise people to stay away from the spreads, just because it's more or less of a coin flip as to whether you're going to win that or not.
Right.
I think there's a lot more money to be had on the money line. But if you're going to bet the spreads, then there's a way to do that. And I think that buying your points is a really valuable way of, making the books pay a little bit more.
What if, of all the sports, I'm wondering if you have found that one sport, maybe the market is a little bit softer in that sport than others. For instance, the NHL. Are the markets and the lines, are they a little bit softer in that sport than they are, let's say, in the NBA?
That's a good question. I would say any sport, any matchup, really, where you have a lot of public interest. The books are doing, I think, a lot more research. They want to make sure they're not going to lose their shirts, on those, because you're going to get millions of people betting. So if you look at something like college football or college basketball, where you've got so many matchups, I read numbers for last Saturday, and I had to analyze like over 100 games just to set, my information out there for my patrons. I don't think the books can keep up with those markets, well enough to. That's where I find they make the most mistakes. Is in those big sets, college football, college basketball. They ignore some of the smaller market teams a little bit. They hang some numbers out there that you go, hey, guess what? There's huge value because you pegged this team as an underdog, and you're paying, more money for them as an underdog, whereas I think they're actually a favorite. So we're going to exploit that.
Yes. And have you noticed, too?
And don't
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned the NHL. I always tell people, that is the hardest sport to do anything with, because it is so. Just watch the damn game. And watch the amount of randomness and luck involved in shooting a goal. And it's like the only one that's harder to handicap is baseball. And it's like you may have great reads on these teams, but it could completely blow up. I've seen days where none of the favorites won. None of them. And you're like, how is that even possible? Because it's hockey, because a lot of these games end in ties, and you end up in shootouts. And once we're in shootout territory, forget it, man. It's anybody's game at that point. So it's like, if you've got to bet hockey, do it sparingly and carefully. And make sure you're getting paid.
And make sure they do what? Go ahead.
As I say, make sure you're getting paid for the bet. Like I said, if you're going to put money down on this volatile sport, then make sure you are getting maximum dollar, because you're going to need it for all the losses you're going to take.
Absolutely. Listen, the whole point in sports betting is there's going to be variance in everything in life and everything in sports. The idea is to try to minimize the variance in any one particular game, and you're right, in a sport like hockey, there's just so much variance. It could go either way at any point during the game. It is crazy, and it's well pointed out by you. And I'm wondering also, have you seen Vegas? Have you seen the lines be able to adjust first half to second half in some of these matches in football and the NBA or college basketball? Have you found more value in betting second halves because maybe the lines and the market is not adjusting like they should in the second half in these games?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I look at sites like ESPN, where they're constantly running a game probability calculator.
Yes.
And they know this stuff, like especially when it comes to football. They've got this down to a science. They know exactly what the probability is based on the score, based on how much time is left, based on your field position. Every time you throw the ball, they adjust that score. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, if they've got this, if ESPN has this, you better believe the books have this. They're watching this, and they know that you have a 50% chance of betting in the second half of you have a 50% chance of winning that bet. So they are going to adjust their lines and say, good, we're going to pay you a little less than that. So they're constantly adjusting the lines, but in such a way as to not pay you enough for the risk.
Love it. Great information. Hookslide joining us at HooksPicks on Twitter. Do yourself a favor and get there. And once again, just explain to the viewers, Patreon. They go to patreon.com. How do they find you? Yeah,
patreon.com/HooksPicks. Or you can find it from my Twitter. I've got the link right there in my bio. And then you have the option there to subscribe and become a patron on a month-by-month basis. Right now it's $12.99 for December. Usually it's twice as much, but I'm still playing with the price point to see where people find value. I want my patrons to win. Right, so if I'm charging too much and I'm eating into your profit margin, it's no good for you. It's no good for me. So I'm still kind of working with that price point. But come and try it out for a month. December is really cheap. If you like it, stick around. If not, that's fine too.
He is Hookslide, known to his friends and to the people in the industry. He's at Hooks Picks. Make sure that you check him out on Twitter first, then visit his Patreon page. And if you are looking for a service, somebody to be able to help you, point you in the right direction, do all the legwork for you, this is definitely somebody that you should consider. Mr. Hookslide, I appreciate your time, my friend. I'm so glad that you took it and you came on the show, and we're all about trying to make people better bettors here, and you do an amazing job of that. So thank you very much for taking the time, and I look forward to having you on again, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate the opportunity. Always good to talk about some of my favorite and least favorite things in the world.
Amen. Make sure you guys get to it. At Hooks Picks on Twitter. He is Hookslide. Thanks again, my friend.
Thank you.
Don't you just feel smarter now having listened to him? Because I know I absolutely do. Make sure that you guys follow him at Hooks Picks on Twitter, and definitely check out his Patreon page. I want to thank him very much for stopping by and helping us all become a little bit better sports investor, sports handicapper, if you will. All right, coming up here on the top of the hour, we've got your TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. That is straight ahead. We've got some breaking headline news in the world of sports. We've got a top wide receiver. Looks like he is finished for the year with a torn MCL or ACL or something along those lines. But we'll get you that information. And believe it or not, there is a blockbuster trade already in Major League Baseball. So we'll get you caught up on all of that information just as soon as we go ahead and recognize a few more of our sponsors here on the show. Low-Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and, of course, our friends at Miami Acura. And how can we forget our good friends over at iTicket Hub. iTicketHub.com, I can promise you, 10% cheaper than StubHub or Vivid Seats or any other secondary market you can think of or come up with. You go to them first, and then you go to iTicketHub.com, and I promise you they will be at the least 10% cheaper than all the secondary markets right now. And here's a real cool thing. iTicket Hub, if you use the code JRS18, you'll give yourself even a bigger discount. That's right, JRS18. Any tickets. It don't make a difference if you're planning on going to NASCAR, or if you're going to an NHL game or a basketball game or one of the bowl games, or even if you just want to go to a concert. JRS18. That is the code that you use. You'll get even a bigger discount at checkout. That's iTicketHub.com. Make sure you guys write that down for all your ticket needs. iTicketHub.com. Really, really cool stuff there. Also coming up, can't wait for you guys to hear from the king of basketball news, Mr. Mike Truth, laying the truth. He's got some stories about what's happening in college basketball and what's going on in the NBA. Some information you are definitely going to want to hear. Plus, we will definitely have your TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day. We will do that coming back here in exactly 123 seconds. Don't go anywhere. It's the Joe Raineri Show.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest-rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. That's 800-898-0816.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Don't be such a pussy. Subscribe to the Say It With Me podcast with Joe Raineri on iTunes today.
Welcome back in. Some breaking news around the world of sports. Let's get you caught up with the latest, including the St. Louis Cardinals have just landed Diamondbacks, Paul Goldschmidt in a 4-player trade. Goldschmidt is 31. This was, of course, going to be his walk year anyway, and it looks like he's heading over to the St. Louis Cardinals. 6-time National League All-Star first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. They get in return Carson Kelly, catcher, right-handed pitcher Luke Weaver, infielder Andy Young, and a compensation round B selection in next year's draft. So Goldschmidt entering the final year of his team-controlled contract. He was going to command a whole lot of money that the Arizona Diamondbacks probably were not going to pay. He did have a pretty decent year, started off slow, ended up with 290, 33 home runs, 290 batting average, 33 home runs. He's a 297 career batting average along with 209 home runs. That is going to be a big boost to the St. Louis Cardinals, that is for sure. So that's going to move Matt Carpenter to third. Goldschmidt's going to be at first, and that's a big old bat now in the Cardinals lineup. So that story just came down, as well as Emmanuel Sanders looks like he is out for the rest of the year. Looks like some sort of he hurt himself at practice, torn knee or Achilles, something along those lines. But it looks like Emmanuel Sanders is gone. That is a big, big blow to the Denver Broncos. So keep that in mind as you're looking at the Broncos game and the Broncos line this weekend. All right, let's get you caught up with today's TrendyBets.com play of the day in the NBA. We love our friends over at TrendyBets.com. These guys are the real good guys. These are quality. These are consistent. These are transparent. Those are exactly the traits that you look for when deciding on a handicapping service. And we certainly recommend our friends at TrendyBets.com. Do yourself a favor. Head over to TrendyBets.com and check out their plays and check out their very affordable packages. Not only college basketball, the NBA, NHL, NFL, bowl games, whatever it is you may be looking for, there is a package for you at TrendyBets.com, and their free NBA play of the day. Tonight they are looking at the Pistons and Bucks. Milwaukee -8, total 227.5. Here's what we know. The over, 9-3 in the Pistons' last 12 versus a team with a winning straight-up record. The over is 5-2 in the Pistons' last 7 after allowing 100 points or more in their previous game. The over is also 17-6 in the Bucks' last 23 home games, and the over is 6-1 in Milwaukee's last 7 games after allowing more than 125 points in their previous game. So the pick tonight is the over at 227.5. That is your TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day. Pistons at Bucks. Hit the over at 227.5. And do yourself a favor, head over to TrendyBets.com. Get yourself that NBA free play of the day. Plus, get yourself a package here, 3-day, 7-day, a month. Very affordable, quality, transparent, and affordability. That's what TrendyBets.com brings to the table. That over-under tonight, 227.5 in the Bucks game is the way you should be looking. All right, speaking of NBA, we're going to go ahead and bring on our good friend, the King of Basketball News, the King of Bball News, at King of Bball News on Twitter. This guy is wired into just about everything when I tell you, everything when it comes to college hoops and the NBA. He's a guy that follows the grassroots movements around the country. There isn't a freshman that is standing out, including Zion Williams right now at Duke, that he hasn't followed since he was a youngster. He's been doing this for a long, long time, and we're going to have an opportunity to speak with him in here in just a minute, and we're excited. But I do also want to remind you, our good friends over at HalftimeMagic.com want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and win yourself a 2-day free pass of plays, courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com. All they want you to do is text us here at the show, 305-791-3839. That's 305-791-3839. Text us here into the show. All you got to do is simply text halftime. Text halftime to 305-791-3839, and you give yourself a chance at winning not only 1 but 2 days. That's right, 2 free-day pass, courtesy of Halftime Magic. All plays, all courtesy of them. They are so convinced that once you get hooked on with HalftimeMagic.com, you will never leave. They are backing it up with a 58% transparent record over the last year. Make sure you check them out, HalftimeMagic.com. But text us right now into the show. Give yourself a shot at a free 2-day pass, 2 days worth of free plays, courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com. 305-791-3839. Hey, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Welcome in another edition of the Joe Raineri Show. Joining us via the Miami Acura hotline is the man behind the man who knows the man when it comes to the NBA, when it comes to college hoops, when it comes to recruiting and the top high school players, and you name it, this man has got stories. It is Mike Truth from at King of Bball News. That is definitely something you want to be following on Twitter. And Mike, thanks for taking some time and hanging out with us here, my friend.
Man, no problem. You know I have to bring the truth and nothing but the truth to all your Fendi fans out there, baby. How you doing? You living the life out there?
Oh, we living the life here in Miami. You know that. We got Hassan Whiteside leaving games early. We got D Wade, 105 years old. We got all sorts of things happening here, Mike. But I want to start. Let's go college hoops here first, because the big story, of course, was Kansas losing their big man. I can't even go to even try to pronounce it. Udoka Azubuike, I think, ended up.
There you go.
Yeah, he killed his ankle, man, and that, I mean, it looked horrific as we were watching it last night. I mean, how big a loss is this for Kansas at this point? Is that it? Is their season over?
Yeah, man, it's a big loss. Of course, all of the news is about Udoka. That's a kid that I follow throughout the years, a big-time recruit coming into Kansas. He actually was in the NBA draft earlier this summer. Pulled his name back out. A lot of scouts liked him. A big kid, very strong. This is a big loss for Kansas, man. They're loaded, no doubt about it. But size-wise, interior presence is no better threat than Udoka in the entire NCAA. Now, they do have Dedrick Lawson. Dedrick is a big-time player. I followed this kid. Being from Memphis, he's from Memphis. I followed this kid throughout his entire, middle school career. So he's a big-time threat. A first-team preseason All-American. First team. So that's big time. But like I said, man, the loss of Udoka is going to be huge. Bill Self has already talked about going with a small lineup, putting Dedrick's brother, KJ Lawson, both of them from Memphis, at the 4. He's about 6'7", so he's going to have to use that small team lineup but the guards are big time, man. He has some pros back there, so don't fret. A lot of teams, they're not going to be saying any prayers for Kansas, let me tell you, because they're still big time. They still have a lot of talent. And I still have them going to the Final Four.
Yeah, and they got a couple of really big games coming up, too. They got Villanova on the 15th. They're at Arizona State on the 22nd, and then they start conference play just after the first of the year, January 2nd. So they don't have a lot of time to figure it out, and they just haven't looked right all year anyway, Kansas. They're loaded with talent, but it doesn't look like they have quite figured out how to play with each other yet. And I don't know if you've noticed that as well, Mike. And now you're going to couple this loss. It's going to take them even a little bit longer to figure out exactly how to gel together.
Joe, don't forget my man. Bill Self has won the Big 12 years in a row. 12. It's crazy. He's going to figure it out. I don't know why NBA coaches are not beating down this guy's door, man. He is a big-time coach. I call him the Calipari of Kansas. That's what I call him. He don't have the swag. He doesn't have the swag of Cal, but he gets the job done. I think they'll win another championship. But you was right. They have a lot of freshmen, a lot of transfers. These guys don't know each other yet. But come March, they will be ready. And like I said, another Final Four berth is on the way.
You heard it here first. He is the King of Bball News, at King of Bball News on Twitter. Mike Truth joining us via the Miami Acura hotline. And, Mike, let's talk a little bit about freshmen here around the country. We've got some guys that are really just showcasing. They're kind of heads and tails above everyone else. We'll start in Duke and Zion. I mean, is he just that much better than everybody else? Or who are your top three right now? Who are your top three in the country? What freshmen have impressed you the most?
All right, so everybody, of course, like you said, I follow this more than really anybody else. I'm your favorite NBA analyst. Everybody wants to know what I think about these kids. This being huge on the grassroots circuit, I've followed them since they were in 8th grade. So Zion, of course, he came from a small town, man, but his athleticism is not small at all. Everyone thinks he's just a dunker, YouTube and all that. No, this kid has game, man. He reminds me so much of Charles Barkley. He can take it off the rim and go coast to coast. He can create off the dribble. His jump shot is not bad as people think. He has a pull-up game. But he's a playmaker. That's what people don't understand watching Duke games. He's a playmaker. He creates. We want to talk about the top freshmen. 3 of them are on Duke's roster. Let's talk about Cam Reddish. He's a big-time shooter at about 6'8". He's already don't tell anybody I give y'all this secret. But Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, LeBron James, they've already been in conversation with Cam Reddish. They want to sign him. He's that big of a talent, man. He is. One game this summer, he already hit 7 threes in one game. He's big time. If Zion went on this team, a lot of people would be talking about him more. But Cam Reddish is big time. And the player that will be the number 1 pick in the draft is on this team. And his name is not Zion Williams. It's R.J. Barrett.
Ooh.
He's a big-time player. And another token for you, his goddad is the one and only Steve Nash. That's his goddad.
Wow.
He's out of Canada. Steve Nash, MVP, is his goddad. He's already been practicing with the Canada national team. He's that big of a talent. He will be the number 1 pick in the draft already. So those 3 are the top freshmen. This year is loaded. It's really loaded with freshmen, man. The lottery probably will have around 8 freshmen.
Wow.
Another freshman I want to talk about is Manute Bol's son. Manute Bol, legendary 76er. His son is Bol. He plays for Oregon. Big-time talent. But don't let the hype fool you. Yeah, he's around 7'2", but he has a guard's game. He's on the perimeter. He can handle. He can shoot the 3. Those are the 4 names everyone needs to watch for in the upcoming NBA draft. Freshmen, but Mike will be the top 1, 2, 3, and 4 picks in the NBA draft right now.
Wow, you heard it here. I love that. You know, and it's so funny. We're talking about freshmen, heads and tails above everyone else, and yet you didn't mention North Carolina and Kobe White. And how could we talk about teams with amazing freshmen and not mention North Carolina here? What do you think about this kid and what he's brought to the table so far?
So on Twitter, man, I have to put this out there. I had an argument with UNC fans because I told them this is going to be a down year for UNC. It's only because I'm on the grassroots circuit. Like, I'm at all the camps. No top recruit is interested in UNC. And that, I don't know if it's because of Roy Williams or it's because of the sanctions. They had so many sanctions over their head going into this summer. No top recruit was thinking about UNC.
Wow.
Now, Kobe White is great. He's a great player. But on the circuit, he wasn't big time like the Zion Williams, Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett. He wasn't in that realm. He was like top 15, top 20. And he just had some big games already for UNC. That's what I mean. Like, they're not the UNC of old. They're not getting the big recruits. Now, they're going to have some big games from Kobe White because they don't have any big-time upperclassmen. So, of course, he has to score. Another big-time freshman for UNC is Najee Little. He's another guy that could be a lottery pick. So I'm not saying anything bad about UNC. They just don't have the talent that I'm seeing before in the past. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. King of Bball News. Follow him on Twitter. Mike Truth joining us. All right, let me switch you over to the NBA. A couple of headlines going on here. The Lakers, of course, always making headlines. And Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant not necessarily interested in playing with LeBron with some of his comments talking about what a train wreck it is being teammates with LeBron. What do you think about that, man?
Man, KD is the most sensitive guy I've ever met in my life. Not even in the NBA. I ever met in my life. KD has too much money to be this sensitive, man. And he's probably on Twitter listening right now. He has like about 7 burner accounts that he follows me on. But I love KD's game, man. Like I tell everybody, he's probably the most gifted player to ever play the game. We've never seen a player at 7 foot that can do the things KD does. But, like I said, man, you can't poke the bear and think the bear won't say anything back. The situation with Draymond, this is what happened. For people that don't know, I'll give you the all exclusive right now. So this is what happened. They're at the game. The shot is missed. Draymond gets the ball, gets the rebound, and starts dribbling out. KD is clapping for the ball like, hey, give me the ball, Kevin Durant, let me go win the game. Draymond does not. He dribbles the ball up. He tries to create. He loses the ball. They go to the bench. Now, this is the problem. Of course, KD, you are the best player on the team. Yes, we know that. Everybody knows this. But Golden State did win a championship before you got there, my friend. Draymond Green is not a regular power forward. He's a guy that creates. He does this all the time. He's like a point forward. He creates. He grabs the rebound and dribble up and creates opportunity. This is what he does. This is not nothing new. So, KD proceeds to tell him on the bench, hey, MF, throw me the ball. You didn't throw me the ball. We all know Draymond Green is a bulldog waiting to explode. He proceeds to say, you, blank, 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 blank. You better recognize who I am. I'm Draymond Green. We won a championship without you. I'm not no scrub. You can't talk to me like that. Then he brings up, hey, we won the championship before you, blase, you won't even sign your contract. So that's where all this comes from, man, that one incident. KD, you cannot do that. You know, you're on a team that did win a championship without you. You are a great player, but at the same time, you cannot do that. And that's why we're here now where everyone thinks Golden State championships are going to be going away and all that. This is the reason why.
Yeah, listen, are we all kidding ourselves at this point, Mike? Are we all just looking at, once again, another Golden State Finals appearance? Houston is completely fallen apart, so, nobody's expecting them to be there. But who in the West is going to challenge Golden State this year if Houston is not going to be able to put it together? Is it Portland? I mean, who's gonna rise to the occasion, do you think?
Yo, it's nobody, man. What do you mean? It's the Golden State Warriors and nobody else. All this talk with KD and Draymond, it sounds great. We're talking about it right now, and I love it. But at the end of the day, no team will be able to beat Golden State. Only team that can beat Golden State is Ding, 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 go to state.
All right,
That's it.
All right, so then if it's Golden State and the West and we're given that, then tell me, the East then it can be one of any 3, 4 teams? I mean, Washington was going to be up there, but they seem to be now. What's going on with John Wall? Bradley Beal's gone. Are they dismantling?
Ooh.
Like, what's going on in the East right now?
Man, I have so many stories about Washington, but let's cover the East first, and then I'll give you the exclusive on Washington. So in the East, man, it's loaded. There's a lot of teams that can come out the East. I love Boston, but working with Kyrie and trying to, bring back Hayward, it's a different team now. Tatum and Brown, these young guys, they got to play last year. That's why they got as far as they did. Now with Kyrie and Horford, Kyrie and Horford and Hayward trying to work them in, it's tough. And it's going to take some time. While they're working things out, I like Toronto a lot. I love the move by Kawhi. I love bringing him in. I love their talent. They have the number 1 bench in the NBA. So I predict them coming out the East. Don't sleep on the Bucks. Milwaukee has a superstar in the Greek Freak. I love him, man. He's like, I'd put him top 5 right now in the NBA. I love his game. He reminds me so much of LeBron when he first came in the league. He has to keep improving with that jump shot. But right now, man, I can put he's top 5 right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, Washington. Oh, man. That's all I can say, man. It's all bad. I think John Wall, coming out of Kentucky, I know him. I know his family, everything. He had that hunger. You know what I mean? Coming out of North Carolina, he just playing for Word of God AAU program. He just came from the bottom, man. He really wanted it. You could see it. Now that he has his money, it's a different John Wall. And I hate to say that, but it is. He's coming out of shape. You saw all the memes this summer when he was at USA Basketball. He just looked like I don't even want to say, man. He just didn't look like himself.
He looked like Kelvin Benjamin with the Buffalo Bills. But what happens to him now, Mike? Let me ask you: does John Wall get moved before the end of the year? They already got rid of Bradley Beal. I mean, are they in total dismantle mode right now?
Yeah, they have to. They're paying so much money. People don't even know this. John Wall or Bradley Beal are not even the top paid player on the Washington Wizards. It's Otto Porter. He's the number 1 paid player, and everyone's like, who? Who is Otto Porter? But they have to. I would love to see Beal go with the Lakers. That'd be great. But I'm hearing from all my sources that the Lakers are not going to move Brandon Ingram. They're still in love with him, so they don't want to move him for Beal. John Wall, there's no takers. Like, they don't want to jump on it right now. He's not the Wall of old. There's a lot of controversy with him, so nobody wants to jump on it. I just don't see any hope in Washington. The only hope I see, man, they somehow can get KD in the summer to come back home. That's the only thing I see right now. That is looking horrible.
Mike Truth joining us at King of Bball News on Twitter. Make sure that you guys follow him. And Mike, let me ask you: you said you like Toronto. How is getting Kawhi Leonard acclimated into the city on this team? How would you rate it so far? Have they done a good job bringing him into the fold here? Has he accepted it? What are the rumors going around with Toronto? How's he getting along with his team in the city?
Man, I'm hearing they're doing an excellent job. They're hiring his friend, his god brother, his girlfriend. They're hiring everybody on staff just to get Kawhi to stay in Toronto. So on that aspect, I think they're doing a great job. Of course, Kawhi is just a different guy, man. He's not the kid that I covered at San Diego State that couldn't shoot a jump shot, was just an athlete. He actually played power forward in college. So let's see how his game has transitioned to a top 3 player in the NBA. Is sensational. But he wants to get paid. That's just what it is. His uncle is his agent. Never had any experience in being an agent, but he's his agent, and he is all in his ear. That's the reason he got out of San Antonio. That's the reason he didn't want to listen to Pop, because his uncle. That's the reason why. Let me tell you the story. Kawhi Leonard had a $100 million contract, but he still was taking coupons from Waffle House and taking them to Waffle House to eat. That's the kid. That's him. all day. But now he's not that kid anymore, man. He has, I think, like a staff of 5 or 15 that has traveled with him from San Antonio just to do his hair.
Mm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's his hair. Of course, he has braids, so I don't know if we have braids anymore. I don't know that many people with braids anymore, so I don't know. But he has a staff of 15 he brought with him from San Antonio just to do his hair, man. That's the Kawhi Leonard we're dealing with. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went, to the Clippers after the season. He just wants to get paid, and that's it.
All right. I got to ask you because I'm shocked. Here we are. We just spent the last 5 minutes talking about the NBA East, and you have given me Boston. You have given me Toronto. You have given me Milwaukee. But, my friend, there is no brotherly love coming your way through this microphone right now. I am not hearing anything about the Philadelphia 76ers, man, who, let's face it, they are loaded, brother, but you did not go anywhere near the Sixers here, man. What's up with the Sixers?
I did not. And you know why? The number one reason why?
I'm waiting.
I believe in the Kardashian curse. That is why. That is why. That is why. It is real, my friend. It is real, okay? It is real. I don't know what those girls have going on, and I don't know if you have a family show. I'm going to try to keep it family, okay? I don't know what these young ladies have going on. I'm going to just say that. I don't know what they have going on. But every single guy that they've touched, it's been disaster. And Ben Simmons has been my favorite. He's my favorite player. I followed this kid all the way since he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
He is the next coming of LeBron. That's the kind of playmaking, natural playmaking ability. He's Magic Johnson. That's what he has. And I love Embiid. I think Embiid is the next Shaq. And I'm not saying even on the court. I'm saying off the court. He has that personality. You know what I mean? He can sell shoes, and big man can't sell shoes. So I love them. I love Jimmy Butler. I love how he went into practice with the Timberwolves and told them, hey, you need me. I love all of that. But the Kardashian curse is real.
Listen, you're not going to get an argument from me, baby. Listen, it would be one thing if it was just one example, one example, it's all right, it's coincidence. Then you start talking about every NFL football player. When you start adding it all up, my friend, you might have a point there, man. The Kardashian, this curse could be the real deal.
I'm telling you, Ben, stop it, man. Just stop.
But, all right, listen, Kardashians aside, do you think Philadelphia, when it's all said and done, do you think Philadelphia will be there competing for an NBA Eastern Conference championship title?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I think in the summertime, I think all of last year's success went to their head. People forget, man, this was one of the worst run franchises in history, a good 5 years straight. And then all of a sudden last year they surprised people, and now everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon. That's not me, man. I'm about logic, okay? Yes, they have talent, but they lost all their shooters, all of them in the summertime. J.J. Redick is the only one that stayed, but you need more, okay? They have so many. Ben Simmons cannot shoot. That's just what it is, okay? He's an excellent playmaker, 6'9", all of that, but he cannot shoot. Teams are backing up off of him. That is controlling the paint. Embiid is in the paint. So now you have more defenders around Embiid. You need shooters. They don't have it right now. Jimmy Butler is a great player, great defender. He's not a shooter. He's not. So I really think right now, talent-wise, I will put them all the way at 5 in the East.
Wow. See, now
so
that's what we're looking for from you, man. Straight up honesty. Tell it the way it is. That's why your name is The Truth, baby. It is Mike Truth at King of Bball News. That's where you guys got to go on Twitter. Some great stuff here. Listen, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your insight. I'd love to have you back on the show, man. Anytime, man. You bring a fresh perspective to what's going on, not only in college hoops, but what's going on the circuit and also what's happening in the NBA. So I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your time, and you come back anytime now, all right?
Man, let's do it, man. I appreciate it. Anytime you need it, let's do a weekly segment. I'm down, man. Anytime, hit me up.
I love it. Mike Truth at King of Bball News. That's where you guys got to follow him on Twitter. Really refreshing points of view and takes on what's going on. So, Mike, I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk again soon.
All right, take care, buddy.
You got it. All right, King of Bball News. That is who you guys got to check him out, man. How cool is that? A guy is wired in. He's been following these guys since the AAU days. I mean, he knows what's going on in college hoops. He knows what's going on in the NBA, and we love that he took some time to hang out with us and spread that knowledge. Some funny stuff there, especially about North Carolina and how North Carolina just doesn't have the recruits that they used to. They're not the same program, whether it be Roy Williams or whatever it is. Some great information there. Washington is a hot mess, and he doesn't think that the Sixers have enough shooters to be able to compete in the East. So some quality stuff. Want to thank him once again for coming by. That's Mike Truth, King of Bball News on Twitter. Make sure that you guys follow him. And that about does it for us here. If you are just joining and just stopping by, welcome in. I will give you your TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. It's Pistons and Bucks tonight. The over 227.5. That is where the TrendyBets.com crew thinks you should be going. Focus on the over 227.5. Pistons, Bucks tonight. And, of course, you can get a TrendyBets.com free NBA play of the day each and every day, daily on the Joe Raineri Show. And we want to thank those guys very much for being a part of it. Also, just a quick reminder, HalftimeMagic.com giving you a chance to get a free 2-day pass at HalftimeMagic.com. That means you get free plays, 2 free days worth of plays, courtesy of Halftime Magic. All you got to do is text us here on the show. Text us the word halftime at 305-791-3839. That's 305-791-3839. Go ahead and text us here on the show, and we'll go ahead and give you an opportunity to win 2 days of free plays, courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com. Don't forget Hook Slide Cash Flow Sports. I want to thank him very much for stopping by today. Just some great information there, all about becoming a better sports bettor. And what a wealth of information he gave to us. Don't forget to visit him at Hooks Picks on Twitter, at Hooks Picks. Make sure you check out his Patreon page as well. It was a pleasure speaking to him. And also our friends at iTicketHub.com. If you are planning on going to any of the bowl games, any NBA games, any concert, anything, I dare you to find somebody less and cheaper on the secondary market than iTicketHub.com. Make sure that you guys head over there, check them out, and make sure you use the code JRS18. Get yourself even a bigger discount by using the code JRS18. Thank you very much to iTicketHub. Thank you to WagerTalk.com, Halftime Magic, TrendyBets.com, Good Greek Moving and Storage, and our good friends over at Miami Acura. Make sure you visit them at MiamiAcura.com. And, oh, yeah, uwager.eu. It's where America bets. It's where this show bets. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Ralph Michaels from WagerTalk.com. We'll be getting you ready for bowl season, plus the NFL slate. We're loaded once again tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to Friday getting the legend on, Mr. Joe D'Amico, straight from Las Vegas. He'll be joining us on the show Friday. So do us a favor, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to our channels. Make sure you like our channels. Follow us across all 5 platforms, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. And we thank you guys for hanging out and spending some time with us as always. Make sure you support our sponsors if you can. They support us. We hope that you'll support them. And make sure you support our guests. It's all about making you a better sports bettor. That's what we try to accomplish here. We try to showcase you the best of the best around the country. And today, Hook Slide, definitely one of those guys you should check out. So we want to thank him once again, and we want to thank you. Come back and join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We do it all over again. Have a great night. Good luck as always. We'll talk to you then. It's the Joe Raineri Show.